In this video, for the high-resolution 3D seabed charts for the TurboWin software family, we'll look at the Start to Isle of Wight folio, which encompasses some of the Channel Islands here. We're paying particular attention to this area because we're working on it at present to fill in this blank here, running from Roscoff roughly up to Cherbourg and into the St Malo area. So we'll switch off these coloured areas here and then we'll zoom into the Start to Isle of Wight. This area crosses into the French sector before it meets up again with the Channel Islands. So we'll take a look at here, the top end. I think this is the Herd Deep they call it. So I'll keep on zooming in. Getting more and more features on the seabed all the time. So there we are, that's the channel for the Herd Deep. Quite steep sided. And even in the bottom it's not entirely flat. We're at a scale of 1 to 10,000, about 1.5 miles to the screen. Keep on working our way down the channel here. Maybe zoom out a little bit. Okay, on 60 fathoms of water, getting deeper, down to 70 fathoms, 80 fathoms. In relation to the fishing limits, we're just inside the 12 mile for the Channel Islands. If we come outside the 12, the deep water, the seabed channel continues down. Let's see, it shallows up again to 60 fathoms. And we can see the sand waves in the bottom of the channel. We've also got smaller mini channels in there, possibly caused by wrecks that are sitting there getting scoured out. So on the left hand side of the 3D image we're starting to see these carved seabed features. I think this is an area called the Casquettes. Again, some quite spectacular features. And by looking at them you can see If you look on the 2D image on this one in the center, that's us down to 600 meters to the screen, 1 to 2,500 scale. You can see you've got a steep side on the western side. The height is 31 fathoms, falling down to 38 fathoms, a 7 fathom drop over a very short distance. If we measure that distance there, that's only 80 meters, which is about 40 fathoms horizontally. So dropping 7 fathoms over 40 fathom horizontal. Here the same drop is happening over twice the distance, so you can fish it more successfully from a bottom trawling point of view by going east to west. The slope on the east side is much shallower. You can see that on the 3D image as well. That's a much shallower slope there than here. If you're coming from the west to the east, you may not get over that, you'll stick. And if we zoom out, I know we do have boats working in here using these charts. Very gently picking their way through. In the east-west direction, it's not so bad, but when the tide turns and they've got to fish the opposite direction, they can meander their way through these obstructions very successfully, with minimal gear damage. And again, if we take a look at what the detail is on the navigation chart, that's what we have. Just a few isolated depths. And an indication of unsettled water. And the unsettled water is probably generating these seabed features. So let's mix them both together. Yeah, where the seabed features are is within this unsettled water area. It tells you there's something there, but it's only by looking at the 3D charts it gives you an exact indication of why it's there. Whether one causes the other, you can present this in monochrome if you want, or with a different color scheme. And again, if you were fishing in that direction and you came into this corner here, there isn't too much place you can go to get out of that corner. So if we take a look here with the You'll see there isn't too much detail in here. When we go below 10,000 scale, we'll probably lose the image. It's starting to get very grainy. That's why we're doing some work in this area to try and improve our coverage in here. Off the Rose Coast here, you'll see that that isn't such a good coverage. And in the Channel Islands, we'll take a look at the seabed here. So we can see some detail on this shallow area here. And we'll take a look further out. But equally we're on the inside of the isle, towards the Isle of Wight here. Again, a lot of features on the seabed that don't get shown by the navigation charts. Quite a confused bit of seabed to the south of the Isle of Wight. Take a look inside on the edge of the 6 mile limit here, Portland. We can see these swirls on the seabed. So we're at 1 to 5,000 scale now. So these channels and a little bit of a clue there on the navigation chart as to what's down there, but not much. And you can see on this one here it's rotating. As it goes further north, it rotates west, sorry, east, along this channel here. Switch on the surface here so we can see it. This shallow area, deep area continues up here. And if we come inside the 6 miles, you can see these channels continue further up. and you eventually form up around the shambles here. If we go to the west of Portland, you'll see the seabed becomes quite spectacular. The strong tides and currents here will sculpt the seabed. Across Lime Bay, again some more crescent shaped or crescent themed seabed features, sand waves, gravel waves, and again with that very steep approach on the west side. We're looking at 30 meters high on the west side and a much gentler approach from the east side. So again, this can be fished in an east-west, easterly, from the east. Very difficult to fish from the west. That's if you're bottom trawling. Again, lots of these features, narrow gaps in between them, only a few hundred meters in between them. And certainly not a complete picture by any means from the navigation chart. This one bank here is actually made up of two. And if we look at the area around the International Divide, again we can see the detail. Two shallow areas here, actually made up of a family of harder seabed features. So that's the sea area silhouette to start, the folio for the 3D charts for silhouette to start point. In our next video, we will take a look over along the English coast, Shoreham, and across to the Bay of Seine here. So we'll take in this area of seabed. And again, you'll see the list of outlets for these charts and software just at the end of the video here. It's coming up now.